All right, here we are, episode 80 of the Good Old Wrestling Podcast. Find us Twitter at T at TGOW Podcast Show, and here on YouTube because the stream worked last week, and to top it off, it didn't have the audio issues that Twitch gave me, and if it's able to, then I could upload. And you could also find us on iTunes, Spotify. I use Overcast. Anywhere you find your podcast. This is just the video version. Um, yeah, and that's about it. So we will roll right into episode 80. Starts off with we actually get an appearance by Brock Lesnar and an appearance on a Monday. All right. So I guess the world does kind of need an explanation for the bullshit that went down at Money in the Bank. So I guess that's it. So we get a replay of one of the worst endings for what I thought was one of the best Money in the Banks that I'd seen in a little while. So he comes out just talking his shit, and I hope the idiot cashes it in or loses it, or maybe he'll catch it in on SmackDown. And his brand had changed, and we didn't. I don't know. So, but as he's talking, we get burn it down. Burn. So Seth Rollins, man, he's not gonna take it sitting down, and he comes in, and he's got to be hurting. Like him and AJ, they went hardcore on Sunday, man. It was a good match, and maybe I don't know. Now I guess AJ can help watch his back since they're friends now. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but Seth really goes off, and he said, here's a proposition. I beat you at WrestleMania, and I'm sure I can beat you again. How about you just be a man, cash it in right now, and it's on. And that would be like Brock's first title match on Raw in years. And his lazy punk ass, he's not gonna do that. But he was talking about it, and then we get Heyman steps in. It's like, no, 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 no. And Rollins actually told Paul to shut the hell up. He was going to beat him. Of course, Lesnar wants to. Anyway. So there it is. Maybe Brock with a new day. His time on Raw. His time on Raw is worn. Nobody wants him there. We're sick of him. The second he ran in on the ladder match, it was a wrap um, of being pissed off. So anyway, why does he still have a contract with WWE? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. So it's a new day. Yes, it is. And we get Kofi on Monday. And he says, Seth, I'm not trying to steal your thunder, but I'm trying to establish my reign as a champion. And I need to beat the best night in and night out. And he's right. He's right. So we get Brock not cashing it in, and Paul saying, you'll probably see you guys later tonight. Yeah, whatever. So we go back, Zayn trying to recruit Lashley for help. And Rollins and Kofi backstage, they run into Triple H, who lets them know that they have a match with Corbin and Lashley tonight. And, because I forgot to tell you. Yeah, right. Well, why did Heyman know? You know? Just throwing it out there. And we get Strowman out versus Sami Zayn. And of course, Zayn takes off running again through the crowd, over the river, through the woods. and eventually Braun catches him back in the ring, pins him. Yeah, you know that. You know that song and dance. And then here we go again. We get the overhype do an interview with Lars Sullivan. And I really could care less what his inbred looking racist ass has to say. I really don't care. They go through his whole highlight reel, and I see not one single person in there that's even close to his weight class or close to his age. Like he picks on the elderly and the young, which is usually like a white supremacist thing to do. Usually they're that way because they can't get laid, and I'm sure he's no exception. And anyway, we get the Lucha House party out again. So they're going to interrupt, and they don't even give a chance to talk. So he obviously doesn't have enough brain power to form a full sentence. So probably one of his heroes, Trump. And so yeah, it's whatever, man. It's the three of them together equal this dude's weight, but that's all he can handle. Get rid of his ass. Get rid of him. Then we get Cesaro and Ricochet, man, he still had the tape on his back. He took a beating. He took a huge beating, and we get Cesaro winning it. And but even with that back wrap, man, the dude is still doing flips and acrobatics, and that boy's gonna kill himself. But he's amazing, and then we get the definitive AJ Styles interview, and back to square one. I got a lot of hard work ahead of me, like hard work, and I could still beat Seth, but um, oh Lord Day. Let's see here, real quick, and let me turn this down and pause 1 second. Sorry about that. And all right, mic's back up. So we get, and for those on the podcast, sorry for the delay. Anyway, so Corbin's punk ass comes in, clapping, talking smack, and somebody just slapped this bitch in the face. Is what I was thinking. But he he told AJ, "I know that was a slap in the face to you to have." He's like, "No, it's not a slap in the face, but this is boom." slap the slap the shit out of him. It was great. You're gonna pay for that. Yeah, whatever. Nobody cares, Corbin. Nobody cares. So we get Roman Reigns here again on Raw, double duty, and then Shane McMahon out. Really, like, hmm. So Reigns using the wild card rule. Just remember that this yard is small compared to the best in the world. Yeah, whatever. Roman says, "I hate spoiled rich kids. Don't you?" Like, yeah, yeah, I do. And he says, "I know you're done with the Miz, and I'm done with Elias, and everybody want to see Shane versus Roman Reigns." Yeah, that would be nice. I would like to see that. Now that you mention it, that would be great. So, yeah, no, he's taking off the coat. He's running down to the ring, and then, well, that's not happening. But he did set it up for Super Showdown. I don't even see it listed. I don't. It's in 3 weeks. I don't know. It's overseas. I forget. I'm not even looking it up. I was gonna look it up, but so it's a 2 p.m. Friday start time type deal, and I don't know that I'll be able to watch it on that Saturday after or the Friday of. Um, and I don't care too much. I probably or most likely will not do a um, a special mini episode of that pay per view, but we'll see. Time will tell. We get Shane McIntyre backstage. Miz comes up and Drew wants to step in on the Miz. You mess with Shane, you mess with me. Uh, yeah, you know, suck up. It's just you're a suck up, and it's true. And then we get Usos versus the Revival, and I was thinking it should be a short one. You know, it was a good match, man. And Dawson got a Hurricane DDT out of the ring on the side of the outside retaining wall. It's pretty badass. Some good near falls, and finally the Revival gets a roll up, and the Usos lose. Their next week should be fun with that one, probably. So we get Alexa Bliss backstage, and then as Little Miss Crazy Cross comes up to greet her and kiss her butt, and the Revival comes running in and says, "You know, we should be the next guest." Whatever. So then we go into a Firefly Funhouse, and with the Crazy Town thrown in, and this one wasn't as good a one, but it's an intro. It's got all these little weird kids sitting there with "Let let him in" across their head. Wow, crazy. So he should be debuting soon. Those videos are getting shorter, and I mean, obviously that's how they're gonna cut his promos in that same frame or whatever. Then we get our moment of bliss, and this was a good one. So we have Cross hanging out behind Alexa. That's a weird combo, man. I don't. Anyway, if Alexa's still hurt, that's part of the reason for the tandem. But they get the. How does it feel to no longer be Becky Two Belts? And then we get the Iconics. Yeah, love it. We now refer to her as Becky One Belt. We still have two belts. We won at WrestleMania. And Becky, yeah, shut your faces, the two of you. In one night, I defended my title more times than you have since WrestleMania. Like, got a point, yeah. But then we get Lacey Evans in, so this becomes a waste of time. So it turns into a 6-woman tag match, and yeah, so whatever. Becky does tell him to just sit back, look pretty. She'll do the rest. Gotta love it. Got Bliss just walks around with her coffee, and Becky finally gets the pin. And nice. Now on to what my biggest letdown for the week is, and what almost made me call this week a dud. And yeah, so Mick Foley out to announce the new WWE title. And he goes in this long rant about being a champion is a 24-hour thing. You think about it, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, get on with it, Mick. Get on. Like, I can see the belt's green. It's already ugly, so hopefully it's good. And then he called it the 24/7 title. Please, oh, it makes you better over here. Yeah. No, it's horrible looking. It's anyway. That's weak as hell for all the hype. I was excited. Anytime, any place, anywhere, any wrestler, as long as there's a ref, can go get a pin and take the belt. Okay, starting tonight, right now, and he'd go leave it in the ring and have everyone run after it. And the bell rings, and the biggest bunch of B class, C class, D class losers come running out. It's a laundry list of nobody cares about you wrestlers. going after it. So finally, we get Titus O'Neil, the only one out of the entire group that even has a name of any kind, ever has. What's left of his name gets it. So we got Titus. But then on the way out the ring, we get or up the ramp rather. We get Robert Roode with the pin, and 1, 2, 3, and takes it. In case you forgot who Robert Roode is, he's Bobby Roode, but with a pedophile mustache. So that's who he is. And so yeah, it's gonna be so retarded. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Sorry, so bad. It's gonna be so bad. And we get the Miz out versus Drew McIntyre. Honestly, I didn't really pay attention to that one. The kids running around. I don't know. We'll just skip that. So we get a Samoa Joe promo now. And really, like, they're saying that he didn't get pinned, that he rolled it up, and in the roll up, that his shoulder wasn't down. They're going to talk about it next week. Why? Because, see, even if that were true, see, Joe's shoulders are so fat you can't see where they're at anyway without slow mo replay. And the second part of that would be so what? If the ref made a bad call, he made a bad call. They don't go back and reverse stuff in the WWE. The Saints didn't get to go back and get a reversal of the call and start on the 5 yard line out of bounds. If it's the once it's done, it's done. So I think that's just dumb and dumb. And then we get into the grand finale. But in the meantime, R-Truth catches Robert Petastash in the parking lot and takes that shit title from him. And then jumps in the car. He's gone. Gone. And he's out. So we get Corbin and Drew versus Rollins and Kofi. And cool. And the match didn't really matter. Like, you knew we were all just waiting for Lesnar at what point he was going to come out and who he was going to choose and yada, yada, yada. So Kofi and Rollins both in the ring, and I'm hoping Lesnar tries and fails. But he doesn't. He comes out and Paul tells him that they're going to, well, he was going to go out and then he didn't. Then Paul tells him to come back next week and he'll tell the whole world his choice. And that ends Raw on that. So I don't like the fact that Lesnar is doing that. I don't like that he has the belt. And I don't know. I thought the ending was kind of weak. Like, it's so weak that I'm just going to end on R-Truth because he's got the most shit title. And who knows how long we'll keep it. But we'll just go with that. And then we'll do a quick commercial break on the actual podcast. Live-wise, we'll be rolling right in. And then we now get into the SmackDown territory. And really, it's Elias sucking up to Shane in the beginning of it. And we get New Day, and they announced the return of Big E. And never thought I would really miss him, but I do. And then they do the whole little thing, like New Day does, where they'll bring out Big E, and then from there they will, do the little joke. It's not him, and then it is, and then they bring him out. So we have that as the opening, but he is there, and it's nice to have him out. But then we get Zayn out to interrupt, and it's pretty funny. They play the trumpet over top of him trying to talk and do his thing. So anyway, you get the comical part of his shit belt where you have R-Truth hiding in the back and everybody's looking for him. Carmella's looking for him, and then they find him dressed as a woman. And then he said that he's been hiding for 24 hours and that he has only 7 more to go because it says 24 plus 7. So that was pretty funny. But they do their thing. Andrade Ali, um, and the SmackDown part will probably be a little bit shorter too. It's kind of stretched, not stretched, but sometimes SmackDown really doesn't have a lot in the 2 hour part. So they go back into the Super Showdown. Like I said, I don't know what I'll do with that, but Ali has his back all taped up too, because that ladder was brutal. Him and Ricochet both had that, and I know they're feeling it. They shouldn't have either one of them do as much as they did this week. They're gonna the roster isn't especially deep, and they're gonna lose those two guys soon if they keep it up. So that's just my 2 cents because they're asking a lot from contracted employees. And so part of it, he did throw Ali in the corner. I think he was supposed to hang him upside down, but he slipped and he kind of slowed. And I didn't know if he was gonna get. I don't know if he was gonna get back up. Kind of slid out of the ring. It was kind of a misstep on the end of it. Um, so for much shit as I give Andrade, it was a really good match. Ali rolled him up for the pin, but I have to give him credit. I haven't seen him do that well. He did have the misstep in the corner, but he really is still new too. He's growing on me a little bit. His persona could be a little better, but I don't really care. Mandy Carmella. So, as a side note too, they nominated Roman Reigns for an award for being a good human from the cancer thing. If it's fake, that's fucked up. I do think it's fake though. But anyway, so near the end of this one though, the match, you have our truth running through the ring, grabbing Carmella, and then once again a whole group of B class, no name people running after the belt. It's not comical. It's annoying, and it is what it is. I don't like the 24/7 belt thing. I don't. So then we get an interview with Bailey, and she would do it all over again in a heartbeat. Her little power of positivity, and Truth still running from the crowd. And it seems like only the no names really care about this belt. I don't know, just for them to have one. So just I guess the expectation of a new title was great, and since then it's just been a huge, huge letdown. I'm not a fan. So Sammy Kofi, I told you it goes right into Sammy Kofi from there. There's not a lot of stuff in there really. Um, well, Sammy put up a good fight. Really, he did a great job. It was a good match. But in the end, you get the Trouble in Paradise misses. Sammy turns, and he does hit the Trouble in Paradise back of the head. 1, 2, 3, Kofi, and then we get Paul Heyman on the ramp and just taunting Kofi with the briefcase. Just should I? Now here's the beat up part. Dolph Ziggler attacks him from behind and just starts beating him to death. I'm talking gouging, punching, beating his face against the ring post. He ends up on throwing him outside, put his head in the steel chair, and slams it against the table. And then we finally get, like, after 5 minutes, the ref stepping in, but Dolph keeps stomping the chair. And then they get it broken up. Dolph going, he runs back and sticks his head in the chair again, slamming it. So we get Kofi coming off on the stretcher, although I wonder why there's no neck stabilizer on it. I don't know. So we'll see. Ziggler's been gone for quite a while. Like, we weren't expecting to see this, and especially in that regard. So that was wild. So Roman ends up showing up to the ring. Elias is on the back of a semi trailer singing to him. Huh. And we have the tag team: Lacey Evans, Charlotte, Becky, Bailey. And, you got the usual trash talk. So this one had a twist I really liked in the end. So Charlotte steps up to get the figure 8. And when she does, Bailey snags her head and rolls her right into a pin. She's looking all shocked and surprised. So Bailey's pinned Charlotte twice. Nice. So we know who her main rival's going to be. And, of course, Lacey and Becky. Where the hell is Ronda Rousey? That's the question. So we finally get one of the losers catching our Truth, Gender Mahal. And Truth escapes, and then the B team attacks. And they fight over who's going to get the pin. So he escapes them again. I told you the 24/7 belt is just annoying AF. I don't know any way to put it. So then we get the interview with Ziggler backstage, and they made this thing take forever. So they were filling time, man. So he doesn't want to answer the question. He wants to tell them. So he goes out with the mic and talks about how it all went back to when Ali got hurt and Kofi got his shot then. And then that made Kofi a contender. And then Kofi got the belt. And then he's the champion. And it should have been me. And he's all crying. It should have been me. I could. Wow. He's jealous. He's just jealous. So he's beating up Kofi because he didn't get the shot that he thought he deserved. Apparently, he's surprised that his white privilege didn't work for him. So I don't know. And Elias versus Roman. He knows only a matter of time. Like, they just go at it. Then we get the spear and the pin on Elias. But then we get Shane's dumbass in. Ringside, he gets involved. And just as Roman was going to bring the final blow on him, we get Drew McIntyre from behind with the Claymore. And that ends on the Drew McIntyre talking his smack about, I told you you should. I don't know why he's kissing Shane's ass. I don't understand why, but we'll see how this plays out. Like I say, SmackDown really didn't have a lot. It had filler, and the things took a long time in between. But match-wise, we're setting up the women pretty decent there, and the bringing back of Ziggler is huge. And we need to see when they have Kofi come back as well, because that could be a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But yep. Anyway, that ends the week and the end of another week. So we will see you next week. As always, you can catch me here on the YouTube, the Good Ole Wrastling Podcast. Make sure you click that whole like and subscribe thing. Even if you don't, just click it. And then, Twitter at GOW Podcast Show. And likewise, till then, see you next week. Peace.